All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. If you spent any time wandering the deep, esoteric corners of internet music, or maybe found yourself stumbling onto 𝔟𝔯𝔢𝔫, you know exactly what we're talking about today. We are decoding the man, the myth, the legend himself, 𝔟𝔯𝔢𝔫. As the creative executive artist of the BR3L project, his discography isn't just music. It's this massive cryptic labyrinth of sound, aesthetic, and raw emotion. So who actually is the creative executive artist behind BR3L? Well, to figure that out, we've got to strip away a ton of digital masks to find the human core hiding behind that legendary 𝔟𝔯𝔢𝔫 moniker. Because, to really understand this kind of art, we have to map out the architecture of the artist's mind first and figure out exactly how they use these personas to tell their story. And wow, what a mind it is! The identity here is completely fractured, which acts as a perfect map for the chaotic tracklists we're about to dive into. He isn't just one single voice. While 𝔟𝔯𝔢𝔫 operates as the creative executive artist, he channels his energy through some really specific alter egos. You've got Brevin Bell, his core collaborator and alternate persona. Then there's Saint Venus, positioned as this ethereal muse. And finally, 777 Abraxas, which is a much darker occult entity. Each one of these personas is basically a key to unlocking his sprawling lore. Moving right along to Section 1, Sonic Alchemy and Covers, or the Hauntology of BR3L. Okay, so the foundation of his whole sound is built on what he calls vibrational eyes, which ties into this philosophical concept known as hauntology. He uses these master echelon post-production techniques. We're talking 432 Hz tuning paired with these crazy swirling 8D audio manipulations. The goal here isn't just to play you a song, it's to pull you into this deeply immersive, super eerie, nostalgic atmosphere. It really feels like an auditory ghost town. And what's absolutely fascinating is how he builds that ghost town by remixing mainstream icons right into his own esoteric lore. He takes that vibrationalized toolkit and applies it to massive hits. I mean, taking Lil Peep's Crybaby, Post Malone, The Neighborhood's Daddy Issues, and even mid-2000s anthems like Three Doors Down's Here Without You. He completely digests these cultural touchstones, slows them down, and essentially rebrands them to fit perfectly inside his own haunted digital cathedral. That brings us to Section 2. Gothic Catholic Love Tragedy, subtitled, This Is My Best Confession. With 𝔟𝔯𝔢𝔫, track titles are never just titles. They are literal fragments of a desperate, poetic confession. Just look at the phrasing, kill me, my God, I will die well. The styling of the text itself, the crosses, the lowercase Gothic fonts, it's visual poetry before the track even starts playing. He's setting a stage of total fatalistic surrender. Then you get lyrics like, sit my flesh, shear my debts, what come next? It's this vivid, almost visceral, sainted grief. He's masterfully taking earthly, human heartbreak and somehow elevating it into a divine ritual. It's like he's merging the concept of emotional debt with physical, holy sacrifice. It's an incredibly dark, spiritual longing. This heavy, atmospheric burden is everywhere in his chosen aesthetic. Love and spiritual punishment are completely intertwined. In the world of BR3L, the moniker isn't just a cool, edgy alias. It's an actual cross he is digitally bearing across his entire output. This gothic, saintly Christhood he references is portrayed as this heavy, breaking weight. Now let's dive into Section 3, the occult and the sacred, blurring the lines of devotion. So as we dig deeper, we find this violent, chaotic clash of inspirations. On one hand, you have the sacred altar, this deeply devout, almost medieval Catholic reverence. We're talking Christ consciousness, Padre Pio, John 3:16, penitent prayers. But then, right next to it, you have these occult invocations. Direct invocations of the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley, the entity Aiwass, and the esoteric number 777. I mean, how do you fit traditional religious figures and an invocation starring Aleister Crowley via Aiwass into the exact same discography? It's chaotic unity. He is using all of these extreme spiritual figures as raw paint on a canvas. He's painting a picture of a soul so desperately searching for salvation that he's willing to pull from the highest heavens and the deepest occult mysteries to find it. All right, Section 4, the human core. It's time to strip away the myth. Because suddenly, all that intense Gothic noise, all the vaporwave fonts and esoteric symbols, it just drops away. And we're left with this quiet, stripped-down text block dedicated simply to Irene Mary Calendo's piano. Amidst all the massive lore and 8D post-production, we find this profoundly vulnerable, beautifully simple dedication to his grandmother. This completely shifts the emotional pacing of the entire project. Nana loved my piano as a boy. It completely grounds our complex creative executive artist. The veil just drops here. It's no longer about occult deities or gothic martyrdom. It's literally just a boy grappling with nostalgia, remembering what his Nana loved. And then we realize his vast, nonlinear output actually serves a highly specific purpose. It creates a digital, haunted cathedral where his grandmother's spirit can still play the piano for her grandchildren. That is the true power of his hauntology. He's not just making spooky music. He is actively using his art as an act of eternal preservation, a way to keep a deeply loved family member alive through sound and vibration. Beneath all the heavy 𝔰𝔞𝔦𝔫𝔱 blasphemy and the hypnotic AD audio, there's just a raw, profound struggle with loneliness. The tracklist lays it all bare. Ungodly grief plus guilt, admitting I'm a crybaby sometimes, calling out Nana, are you around, and feeling so fucking alone. It becomes glaringly obvious that behind the complex symbols, he's just an artist trying to navigate and cure a very human, ungodly grief. So, when the 432 Hz audio finally fades and all those elaborate alter egos vanish, what are we left with? Does the myth of St. Brevin leave us with an untouchable internet god, or just a boy seeking comfort at his grandmother's piano? The massive esoteric universe of 𝔬𝔲 isn't some wall built to keep us out. It's a beautifully tragic sanctuary built to protect something incredibly fragile inside. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. And hey, the next time you encounter a super complex online persona, I highly encourage you to look closely. You might just find a very human heart beating beneath all that digital noise.